If you are watching this, chances are you have asked yourself one or more of these questions. Am I being a good enough mom? Is my child suffering because of my career? Why do I feel guilty for enjoying work I love? And maybe, is it even possible to do both well? Hi everyone, welcome to another episode of The Goddess Energy. And if you are new here, I'm Jaslin, a tech professional with over a decade of experience, Women in Tech Award winner 2025, podcast host, and most importantly, a full time working mom navigating life just like you. I want you to know something right away. You are not alone and you are not doing it wrong. You're just caught in a space that society doesn't prepare us for, the space between loving your child deeply and also being deeply ambitious. And today, we are going to break this down, not just emotionally, but practically. Here's what we will cover. First, we will define what guilt really looks like in everyday life so you can recognize it when it creeps in. Then we will look at how Indian culture and family dynamics often amplify the guilt. Next, we will break down your typical day from morning to work hours to evenings, and I'll show you exactly where guilt hits and what to do about it. After that, we'll shift from reaction to prevention, and I will give you practical systems that you can use to create a guilt reducing routine at home. And then we'll finally walk through specific guilt scenarios, what to say, how to bounce back, and about legacy, how to help your child understand and respect your ambition and what they learn by watching you lead. This episode is not about doing it all. It is about doing the right things with clarity, intention, and confidence. This is not motivational talk, it is a toolbox. So let's start. So let's begin at the core before we fix it. We need to understand what exactly is guilt that seems to follow us around. Let's define it. So, guilt is the discomfort you feel when your actions don't match your internal belief of what a good mom should do. For example, you could be finishing a very important report and your child wants to play. You stay focused, but mentally you're beating yourself up. That's guilt. Now multiply that feeling across the week or the month or the year, and you're drained. Let's look at the most common guilt triggers for working moms. Leaving children with grandparents or nannies for long hours, missing out on school events, not being able to cook, not being able to help with homework, choosing to travel for work, feeling happy about promotions, raises, visibility, and wondering if it makes you selfish. But here's the truth, you are not a bad mom. You are a woman trying to be responsible in two roles with no rule book. So today, let's create that rule book. Now that we have broken down what guilt feels like and where it shows up, let's talk about something that often intensifies it, culture. Because being a working mom anywhere is hard, where in India, there's a different set of rules we are expected to follow, and often they're unspoken. Let's talk about context, especially in the Indian setting. We love our families, but let's be honest, there's a lot of passive guilt that gets passed down. So now here are the top pressure points for working moms in India. First, family expectations. You're working, but you're still expected to plan the dinner menu, attend every family function, help your family with all events, a puja, a birthday party. Everything just keeps on piling along with your work. What's your solution? Set fixed household roles. For example, you could define that you will not cook on weekdays or that you will only attend weekend functions. Use simple assertive phrases like, I won't be able to help this evening, I've got a tight deadline. Let's schedule this for Sunday when I'm freer. The second pressure point is the good mother myth. You are constantly measured against the image of a mom who cooks 3 fresh meals, knows every detail of her child's school life, sacrifices her needs without complaint. This is more prominent now with social media showing off all the super moms. Here's how you can navigate that. Reframe good to present and intentional. You don't have to be available all the time. You just have to be present when you are. Now let's get specific. Understanding the cultural backdrop is helpful, but we also need to talk about the day to day because guilt isn't just a vague emotion, it hits you at specific times. Let's now walk through your daily routine morning to evening, and I'll show you exactly where guilt creeps in and how to manage it better. Let's go hour by hour and break down how guilt sneaks in and how to manage it. So let's talk about the mornings. Mornings are generally your chaos zones. Everyone is rushing, your child, your partner, if you live with in laws, they too are, and you are. You're packing tiffins, preparing for breakfast, preparing for the whole day, and also checking for urgent emails and any important work that has come in through the day. Now, while you do this, you're totally not present anywhere. You may snap at your child, at your partner, at your in laws, or you might even forget something important. What's your solution to this? First is you can prepare the night before. That helps a lot. Prep the uniform, prep the bag, do your meal prep, breakfast basics, everything, right? So in the morning, you have everything almost ready for you to just get rolling. The second thing that would help you out in the morning is take 10 minutes for yourself. Get up early or align some time with your family members that this 10 minutes is for me. It could be just being by your thoughts, having a cup of tea or coffee, whatever suits you, or just listening to music. But that 10 minutes alone time would really help you bring yourself together. The third thing that you can do to navigate this morning chaos is have 5 minutes for your child, dedicated to your child. Even if it's just one interrupted conversation, just have that 2 to 5 minutes dedicated, intentional towards your child. So after the morning chaos, you have stepped into the day where you're working, and then you start noticing this invisible pull. You are working, but you're thinking, I hope my kid is fine. I hope she's fed. I hope she had her meals. I hope the nanny fed her, or all those things. So all these constant thoughts keep coming up. During call, again, you are always distracted because there's a part of you which is with your child. What's the solution to this? First, set boundaries. Set boundaries with your house help, with your family, with whoever, to have some updates 2 to 3 times about your child. If you're working from home and your child is at home, then you should have do not disturb cues, like maybe it's a closed door or a colored band or maybe something on the door handle or just a sign, something which basically indicates that you are in a do not disturb zone and your child and your family should not trouble you. And then schedule parenting breaks. So for example, if you have to drop your kid, that would be a parenting break, and have check-ins when your kid is coming back. You have it scheduled. If your kid is at home, you can have again timely breaks where you would check in with your nanny or with your house help or with other family members about how the kid is doing. This method of scheduling the parenting breaks while making sure that you work uninterrupted will help you be present and intentional for both of your roles and also help you navigate your guilt. Now let's go to evenings. The switch mode. You are tired after a long day of work, but your child wants your full attention. So does your phone and maybe other family members as well. So you're physically present, but mentally you are not with them. What can help? 30 minutes spent with your child. Tell your kid that I am available for the next 30 minutes. We can do whatever you like. It can be puzzles, it can be play. So, giving that 30 minutes of uninterrupted time to your child is a great way to connect with your child in a very present and intentional manner. You can also inform your team that after a certain time, you will only be available in case of escalations. And one thing I would be mindful is for that 30 minutes, you make sure your phone is off as well. So, this makes sure that your child gets an uninterrupted attention. So, now we looked at your schedule and we looked at how guilt shows up reactively. Now, let's flip the script. Let's go proactive. Instead of reacting to guilt, I want to help you build systems that reduce it from the start. Because the more predictable your week is, the fewer decisions you will regret. So, the first thing that helps is a weekly family planning. Every Sunday, spend some time planning who's doing the dropping off and the picking up this week, who will take care of the school events or doctor appointments, and any days that you need any sort of backup support. Make sure, of course, the schedule is planned along with your partner or your house help or your family, whoever. And once this is decided, share it with everybody. Visibility will reduce chaos, and chaos is what breeds your guilt. The second thing that you need to do is have some anchoring rituals. Choose 2 to 3 weekly family rituals. For example, it could be a Wednesday bedtime story, it could be a Saturday breakfast, or it could be a Sunday temple visit, or a church visit, or even a movie night. These don't need to be big, but they need to be predictable. Because your child will not remember everything you missed, but they will remember what you always did. The third thing you can do to be proactive and manage guilt is a weekly spousal check in terms of what worked and what did not work. So you do a reflection of your week in terms of what worked, what did not work, and what can be improved and how it can be improved. With the spousal check in, one very important thing: do not assume. Ask, coordinate, and delegate very evidently. Now, even with all this structure, let's be honest, some days guilt will still show up. You will still miss something, you will forget something, someone will say something, and that old voice in your head will creep up. that you are not doing enough. And so I want to help you handle those moments calmly, clearly, and quickly. So first, I want to talk about two things that often people say and leads to your guilt and how you can respond to it. So your child, or maybe your parent or your spouse or someone, could say that you're always busy. Now, if it's your child who says this, you make sure that you inform them, if you're working in an important meeting, that I have a deadline till 6 p.m. Once I finish that, I will spend 30 hours with you. Or if you are in a moment where you can take out some time, you can tell them that, okay, I hear you, so I'm keeping away work for say 30 minutes. Let's do something now. So having that open communication with your child is really going to help you navigate and also help them understand why you are busy. Now, the second person who can make these kind of comments is your spouse. With your spouse, that is why I said do not assume anything. Make sure you have very clear communications, which is why we had the other systems in place about a weekly check-in and things like that. And there still could be weeks where something could come up, or you might be more busy and may not be available for your spouse. And that is when you need to make sure that you speak to your spouse about that. I hear you. I know I have been busy lately. I will make sure that tonight let's spend some quality time together. What would you like to do? So actually hearing them rather than getting pissed off at what they're saying is going to help you. The third set of parties who can make these comments could be extended family, it could be your parents, it could be your in-laws. Now, for them, you don't really need to owe an explanation. You could respond things like, this rhythm works for us right now, and if any challenges come up, we cater to it our own way. This makes sure your boundaries being defined, and also they understand that it is your family and you need to define those things. Make sure with extended family members you use calm confidence, you don't get pissed off, and you don't explain too much. That is a very important factor to make sure your boundaries are being respected, because the moment you explain too much, you are letting down your boundaries, which also makes sure that they can say more, which is going to add to your guilt. Now, after all these, there will be an internal questioning that will come up at times. For example, you're working and your child fell down, and while the nanny or someone else took care of it, you will feel guilty about it. But in such instances, the first thing you need to do is pause, breathe, and ask yourself, what is more important right now? And that will help you prioritize what is more important for you at that time. So if you are in an important meeting and your child fell down and somebody else took care of it and there is nothing to be worried about it, it will help you understand that what you are doing right now is actually more important for you. And that will help you navigate the guilt. And in general, whenever you feel like this, you can go back and ask yourself, did I do the best with what I had? Was there anything I could have done differently? Or can I reconnect in a meaningful way? Or do I need to adjust some things in my calendar or in my day to day things? This reflection will help you recalibrate and move forward in a way that works for you. Now, here's the part we rarely talk about, the long term view. You are not just trying to survive this week, you are setting an example. And your child is watching you work, set boundaries, and show up. And believe it or not, your ambition is shaping their worldview. So let's talk about how you can normalize your ambition at home without guilt. So first is let them see your work setup. So if you're somebody who works from home, make sure they understand your work as much as possible based on their age. If you're somebody who works from office, see if you can take them to office once in a while, help them see your office, meet your colleagues, and help them understand that a bit. Involve them occasionally. For example, if you had a big win, tell them that mama won a deal today or mama did a project delivery successfully. Based on their age group, tweak the language, but get them involved as part of it. If you had a bad day, tell them that I had a bad day at work. And this helps them connect with you at a deeper level while also normalizing ambition for you. Celebrate your wins at home. Celebrate it with your partner, with your child, with your family. And let your child know why work matters and why work is not something you just do. It is something you do because you like it. This is something I always tell my child whenever she asks me that why do you work? I say I like to work just like you like to play with your toys. Would you like it if I take you away from your toys? And now she respects when I'm working. She understands that I'm doing something I like, and so she tries her best to not disturb me. You are not just raising a child, you are shaping their view of what women can do. And that is a very, very important task. That brings us a full circle. We started with guilt, we broke it down, we structured around it, and we also looked at how you can rewire it for your child. Now it's time to take a deep breath and remember, you don't have to do this perfectly. You have to do it with intention. To every working woman watching this, You don't need to apologize for wanting more. You don't need to feel guilty for loving your work. You just need system support and structure. And yes, a bit of grace for yourself. If you have any other ways you navigate your guilt, do drop in your comments. We would love to incorporate that. And I would also love to hear your story of navigating guilt and ambition. And if this helped, don't forget to subscribe to the Goddess Energy, where we are building real tools for real women. Before closing, I just want to say you are not torn between two worlds. You are the bridge, and you're stronger than you think. Thank you, and see you soon.